Before we jump into today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that we are doing a giveaway. Each week, we will be selecting one lucky listener and sending them a $50 Amazon gift card and a Storytime t-shirt. All you have to do is rate and review the podcast, follow storytime.pod on Instagram, and leave a comment on the latest post that says, "I'm an official Fable baby." That's it. Also, if you have a damn good story to tell and you want to hear it on an upcoming listener episode, Tibbity, type that thing up and email it, or send an audio file of you telling your story to storytime@collab.inc. Can't wait to hear them. Welcome to Storytime, the podcast where I bring you the best stories from around the internet, produced by iHeartRadio and Collab. I am your fearless host, Will Handsome McFadden, but you can just call me Will.
Cookie, what are you doing in here? Sorry. Are you doing one of those pies?
Mom, get out of here. I told you I needed the office for a few hours every Wednesday.
Okay.
Hey, can you please stop calling me Cookie? I'm almost 40 years old. I'm a grown man. I have a podcast.
Hey, sorry, I'm going. You want a glass of milk?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Please close the door. Sorry about that interruption. That was just my super hot girlfriend, trying to give me another back rub. Anyway, where was I? The internet is a deep and dark dumpster full of stories. And I fearlessly dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but absolute treasures. Everyone loves a good story. Whether it's fact or fiction, comedy or tragedy, a rags to riches, or a fall from fortune, our ability to share our stories is something that makes us uniquely human. I mean, meerkats don't sit around a fire telling each other spooky stories. At least I don't think they do. But if you're listening to this and you're a meerkat that attends fireside storytelling parties, please send me an invite. I love you guys. You're super cute. I will bring snacks. Where was I? We use stories to pass on our history, to share our experiences, to relate to one another, and feel a little less alone in this world. Storytelling at its core is about belonging. Today, I'm bringing you 3 stories from 3 YouTubers looking for love and connection, but instead finding cringe and deception. And what a better way to kick off this podcast than with something we can all pretty much relate to: awkward first dates. And trust me, I am an expert on this subject. If I had a Beanie Baby for every terrible first date I've been on, well, let's just say I'd have a pile of Beanie Babies. I may even have one of those super rare Princess Diana bears. Anyway, I have been on a few second dates in my life, although the last second date I went on ended 3 years later in divorce, but it's fine. It's cool. I've got a new super hot girlfriend that I mentioned earlier who's definitely real and loves back rubs, and everything's fine, Everything's fine. I definitely still don't cry about Sheila in the shower. I don't. I swear I don't. Pro tip of the day: if anyone comes across a Sheila on Tinder or Bumble or Bramble or any dating app, just swipe left. Your heart can't take it. Trust me. And speaking of swiping, I've been swiping through stories all week, and this one is definitely a match. So let's kick off this podcast with a story by a fantastic creator that goes by the name Culture Crash.
I'd like to take this story time to tell of my experiences on Tinder, and of dates in general, in the hopes that you might glean some element of my character from these tales, and learn not to make the same mistakes. Or hey, maybe you'll just get to laugh at my misfortune. Either way, let's begin with a story I like to call The Minigolf Mongoose and Her Hypocritical Hijinks. This story begins in the early days of Bumble, an app essentially identical to Tinder, except the girl always gets to message first. This prevents girls getting spammed with creepy messages from strangers who they drunkenly swiped right on the night before while having a laugh with their girlfriends. And no, before you start making jokes, I wasn't on Bumble because I'd exhausted every option on Tinder. I'd just reached my cap on swiping for the day, and didn't want to buy whatever the Tinder Premium thing is called. Gold, I think? Tinder Gold? Tinder Platinum? Why am I asking when no one can answer? Anyway, downloading another app seemed the fastest way to solve my problem. I started swiping and immediately noticed that I was finding a lot of genuinely attractive girls. Now I knew why it was called Bumble. because it was full of honeys. Oh god, I hate myself for that joke. Can we just forget I said that? Great, I'd rather not be remembered as a creepy uncle. Within a few minutes, I had matched with a girl and she looked super cute. I honestly couldn't believe we had matched. I thought for sure it must be a bot or something, but no, she was real, and she messaged me that night. We had a bit of playful banter back and forth. She seemed confident and intelligent and had a good sense of humor. I was ready to ask her out on a date, and I'd been mulling over the idea of mini-golf as a first date activity. It has a few advantages. It gives you a chance to chat, unlike a movie, bit of competitive spirit to get the conversation going, and not too long, so if the date is going badly, you have an exit plan. Little did I realize that I was going to need that last advantage the most. The day of the date arrives, and I've got the usual pre-date jitters, but mostly because I'm excited to meet this girl in person. Let's call this girl Penelope. Actually, no, that's too nice of a name for this girl. Let's call her Time Waster. I step inside the mini-golf lobby and see that there's only one person in the whole place. She doesn't look at all like Time Waster, so that couldn't possibly be her. As I look more closely though, the truth dawns on me. It is Time Waster. She sees me and smiles. She looks nothing like her picture on Bumble. I force a smile back. My mind is rotating through the pictures on her profile, stripping away at the filters and accounting for how she posed herself to try and explain the disparity between the girl I saw on Tinder and the girl in front of me. But in the next instant, I realized how stupid I'm being. What does it matter if she doesn't look exactly like her pictures? She's still cute, and we got along really well when we talked online. I resolved to give the date a fair shot and see if we connected on a deeper level. As you can guess by the nickname Time Waster though, this was a foolish endeavor. The first issue was she was clearly very shy. Like incredibly shy. Not like, oh it's cute that she blushes when I compliment her shy, but more like so shy that she can't bring herself to hold a conversation with another person and withdraws as a defense mechanism shy. I'm not holding it against her. I get a bit shy when meeting new people too, but it's impossible to have an engaging conversation with someone who kills every topic with a simple yes or no or maybe or I don't know. I think it felt especially egregious at the time because it was so different to how she spoke on Bumble. It was jarring, but at this point I just felt a little uncomfortable and a little sorry for her, so I wanted to do my best to let her relax into the situation and maybe open up a bit more. If you're feeling sorry for her at this point in the story, just wait. We begin playing, and I'm trying desperately to make small talk about anything. I'm getting smiles and nods of acknowledgement, but no real responses, no back and forth. I'm formulating a game plan to wrap this up as quickly as possible and get out of there. Then she takes a putt, and the ball comes within millimeters of going in, and she gets all puffed up about it and taps it in anyway, saying, "We're not counting that one." I'm like, okay, she's trying to be playful and keep it light. That's good. I mean, she's a cheater, but at least she's a cheater who's showing some personality now. I laugh and say, alright, and we move on to the next hole. This one's got a water hazard, and Time Waster wastes no time in smacking her ball right into the water. She plucks it out. That one doesn't count either. I laugh again, even though her tone was more serious that time. She's getting frustrated, I can tell. So now we've gone from no personality to frustrated. Fantastic. The game proceeds in this way for a while, cycling through silence, frustration, and attempts at small talk. She decides to break up this repetition with a new element, bragging. She's bragging because she's beating me. How surprising, the person who's able to retract any dud shot she makes is winning. What a flattering quality in a person. Someone who brags about such small victories. And no, she wasn't doing it in a cute way. It was aggressive bragging, rubbing it in my face. She genuinely thought she was better than me. I don't think I'm a prideful person, but this date certainly tested my patience on the matter as she stripped away at every shred of my manhood. I'm trying to figure out how to get across just how awful this really was. Imagine if you got a pet mongoose because they looked cuddly in pictures. You bring it home and the whole way home it's completely silent. You think it's just nervous. Then you go to play with it and it doesn't engage with you at all. When you try to feed it to show it some degree of affection, it lashes out and scratches your hand. You try desperately to have fun with this mongoose and it gives you nothing in return. Then, to add insult to injury, the mongoose finds your pet snake and kills it. Time Waster is the aggressive mongoose ripping the snake, my manhood, to pieces. Now let's not think too long about the symbolic ramifications of a snake representing manhood. And you know what? I'll say it. She had a face a bit like a mongoose too. Small features with a pointy chin and sharp teeth. I thought I was above commenting on her appearance, but apparently not. I think it adds something to my growing dislike for her, that every time she was bragging or getting mad at her awful putts or pouting, that I had to look at her little mongoosey face. We proceed to one of those holes where you hit the ball up a slope at the very start. If you miss, the ball hits the opposite wall and rolls back down. Of course, Mongoose herself stuffs it up about 3 times and resets every time. When the ball rolls back down, my eyes roll along with it. She finally hits the ball in after sighing super loudly, and it's my turn. I take a shot and miss, and it rolls back down. Jokingly, I say, lucky we're not counting those ones. And she says, yes we are. I think she's kidding, of course, but her deadpan expression says otherwise. I'm like, you got to take yours back. And Mongoose says, and I quote, yeah, but you're a guy. My mind is blown. What is this reverse sexism BS? Am I alone in thinking that we should be playing by the same rules? Can you imagine if I said to a girl that I would give myself a handicap because I'm a guy and therefore I'm better than her at minigolf? I mean, seriously, it's minigolf. I can't stress enough how much she was not kidding either. She wasn't being playful or cute or anything. She just straight up thought that she should get to take back her shots and I shouldn't. And not only that, she would get mad if I tried to take back a shot. Mongoose is a complete hypocrite. And hypocrites are something that I just cannot stand. I let it go. We only had a few holes left after all. The bragging not only continued, but escalated. Other people at the minigolf park were looking at her because she was making that much noise. My only play was to awkwardly laugh it off when she got too excited about it. On the hole in front of us was a couple who'd obviously been together for a while. They were the picture of perfection. I hated them. No, actually, you know what? That's unfair. I hated Mongoose. Hate is a strong word, but in that moment, I really did. If I were a more assertive person back then I would have just walked out, but I resigned myself to finishing the game. I knew there was only one way to bring back some shred of dignity and salvage the horrendous outing that this had turned out to be. I had to win. I dug deep and played the best I could. Her ball got stuck in one of the rocks that had a PVC pipe through it. I laughed in my head. I laughed so hard in my head that I laughed out loud. She got angry, but I didn't care. I got a hole in one on the same hole, and it felt so good when I turned to see Mongoose stunned in disbelief. But alas, it was too late. I was trailing by 2 strokes on the final hole, and was unable to beat her. She rubbed it in. The couple in front of us who had just finished furrowed their brows in confusion, and I stood there and just had to cop it on the chin. I fumbled my way through the goodbyes and lied, saying I'd message her. In fairness, she didn't seem like she wanted to meet up again either. I took the scorecard from that game with me and kept it in my car as a reminder of a few things. Firstly, be careful about pictures. Check those angles and the filters. Secondly, be more assertive. If your date is awful, you don't need to humor them and stick it out just to be polite. Lastly, don't do minigolf as a first date. Anything competitive really is just bound to bring out the worst in people. In recent times, my view on that last rule has changed. I think minigolf can work, but the scar runs so deep for me that it's hard to forget. Mongoose ruined minigolf for me, a crime that I can never forgive. Sure, I'll still play, but as the breeze turns the tiny windmill, I can still hear her mocking laughter. It was a small price to pay for a lesson well learnt. An hour of my life and $16.
Wow. What a cheater. Are you sure her name wasn't Sheila? Because Sheila used to cheat on everything. Board games, tests, me. For more stories, explainer vids, and awesome animation, make sure to subscribe to Culture Crash on YouTube. And now it's time for a little baby story about a service or a product, also known as an ad. Welcome back. Our next terrible, horrible, no good, very bad Tinder tragedy is told by Drea Okeke, also known as DreaKnowsBest. And on this date, instead of eating a nice meal, she ends up eating her date's dust. Take it away, Drea.
I met this guy online. His name was... Ooh, I'm not gonna give you a real name. Let's make up a name. His name was Sean. Let's make up a name called Sean. Sean sounds like a good guy's name. So I was swiping through when I saw Sean. Let me describe how Sean looks like so y'all can really like visualize it as I'm talking. So Sean was this fine chocolate looking man. He was tall, 6'3", and y'all know I'm 6'2", so when I saw 6'3", I said, I swiped right, and we matched. So within like the first 3 days of talking, we were vibing, chatting consistently, and I'm like, this guy's really cool. I'm really vibing with this guy. Like, I would love to finally like see him in person. And guess what? Sean was interested too. Hit me up, he was like, what day are you free? I would love to take you out. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. A man that knows what he wants. I kid you not, when you're online, when you're dating period, or like talking with a guy, it takes some guys just take forever to ask you out, and it's like, can you hurry up? When it comes to picking out anything, I'm very indecisive. So Sean did really good by, giving me 2 options of where we want to go to. Would you like for me to take you to like spend the evening at the beach? We will be able to like get there in the evening time and just right in time to watch a sunset in Venice. It looks really, really beautiful. Or would you rather us, go up to the hill and be able to watch the sunset and overlook the city, and it's very, very beautiful. So here's the thing with those 2 options, right? He gave me the option of the beach and the overlooking the city. Now the problem with the beach is that It was winter time, honey. My body was not hot girl summer ready. My body was, I was about to be out there showing these rolls on our first date. No. So obviously I picked Overlook the City. Plus, I mean, LA is really pretty. And I like the sound of just like, you know, the sun is about to set, you're looking at the view, you know, you and him are together, and it's like, it just sounds very romantic. So I'm like, all right, let's do that. Romantic and safe. Love it. Right before he picked me up, I had to make sure I look cute. You know, I put on my makeup, I look real cute. Not too much makeup, just enough to look poppin'. I had a really nice green sundress on and sandals because, you know, we about to go look at the sunset. So he comes to pick me up. He looks really good. He smells really good. And I'm just like, wow. Thank God he didn't look like a completely different person than your picture, because that would have been trash from the start. So before he started driving, he did something weird. He decided to take off his shoes. And what was weird about it, that he wasn't wearing any socks. His toes looked crusty. But that wasn't even the point. I mean, first of all, if I had crusty toes, I would not even show it on a date. But I mean, it's all good. It's all good, you know. It was fine. I asked him, like, why you take off your shoes? He was like,
I just don't like to drive with shoes on, you know.
Okay, I guess you're just taking it literally when they say put your foot on the pedal. He's like, literally, my feet on the pedal. Got it. Not judging. I'm not a judgmental person. We're going. And then we get to the location, finally. So when we get there, I was a little confused. You know, I was a little confused. Why I was confused is because it didn't look, I wasn't seeing the city. We were still flat on the ground. And I was like, where's the view? He's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna get there. The view is right up there. I turn and I look. Y'all. Tell me why homeboy has brought me to a hiking spot. We had to hike all the way up the hill just to get to the city overlooking location to look at the view. When I tell you, I was like confused. Wait, what do you mean? He's like,
Yeah, we gotta walk all the way up there, you know what I'm saying? So, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. So we start. I mean, at first I was like, maybe it's not that bad. That's why, you know, maybe it's like there's a shortcut, you know. That's why he's like, oh, we gotta walk that way. Maybe it's a shortcut or like a little escalator that's gonna take us up. Child, we go. I see people in like jogging clothes and everything and like hiking shoes. Oh, people are actually out here working out. Please God, let there be a shortcut. Let there be a shortcut. Remember guys, I worked out this morning, so my body's already sore. And then we gotta climb the hill. Let me be positive. Maybe this is actually a really cute walk. You know, as you're walking, you're gonna see like some, you know, music playing or something. There's some cute stuff. Let's see. We start going. He's moving fast, so he's like, one step. I'm like, one step. One step. Like literally, it was a struggle. And then we're walking. First, we're going the same pace, right? First, we're going the same pace as we're walking, and then we're walking and talking. So I'm trying to be casual. I'm trying not to think too hard about how much this hurts my legs. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, so do you like working out? He's like, yeah, I work out every now and then, you know, and everything. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he starts like, I realize that he's getting faster and I'm slowing down. So why are we not the same speed? He's walking, looks back, and he's like, oh, he waits. And I catch up, I'm like, sorry. He's like, oh, no, it's cool. Anyways, we keep on chatting. And he keeps on going, like his legs are long too, so he's like, boom. My legs are long, but my legs are sore. 5 minutes into the walk, we haven't even gotten anywhere close to the up to the view. Like you can still tell we still have a long way to go. I'm like, blood of Jesus. If he does not, what are we doing? Where's the shortcut? Why didn't we just drive to the top? And he looks back and he's like, yo,
You taking too much time. I'm gonna meet you at the top.
you gonna meet me at the where? At the what? At the bop? At the rop? At the you better stop? At the where? At the top? Guys, I kid you not, homeboy left me. He left me. And oh gosh. Y'all, the trauma is coming back. No, I'm not crying, no, because he's trash for this. He literally is trash. He left me. He just literally went up the stairs. A real man would have carried me up the stairs. That's what a real man would have done. He would have carried me, but that man was not a real man. I was so shook. I was like, what the heck? So we get to the top. Homeboy had the audacity. Finally, I get to the top, right? And let me say, he got to the top way sooner than I did. I get to the top. I'm looking at the view. Like, this view is not even worth it. I've gone back again to this Culver City Stairs view, and I'm like, it's beautiful. But at that moment, I was so mad, and I'm like, this view was not worth it. Homeboy, you left me. I did not snap at him. I still smiled. And I was like, ha ha ha. You know, I worked out this morning. That's why I was so slow. Ha ha ha. He's like, oh, it's fine. I got something for us. He pulls out of his bag a bottle of wine and 2 red cups. What you want me to do with the wine? Here's how, the way I pictured this date was, we were gonna drive up, we'll park the car, we'll get a blanket, lay it on the floor, sit down together. He probably has like a little sandwich pack for us to eat, because God knows I was hungry at that moment too, because I haven't eaten dinner yet. I thought he would have dinner ready, or like a snack or something for us, right? Sit down there, lay down, talking with one another, just chatting, looking at the view, sipping our wine together. We got to the top, we were just standing there. There was hella people all around, families with their dogs. It was just crowded with people. It wasn't anything private, it wasn't anything intimate. It was just like, it was mad wet. And he left me. I was just like, that was like the biggest joke. And then he like poured the wine in the cup, and it was this cheap, like $6 wine. It was the type of wine, that red wine that stains your lips. So it was cheap wine on a date that he didn't have to pay for. All he probably spent was money on gas, and he didn't feed me. I left there tired. I left there hungry. I left there upset. But I still, kept it classy, y'all. It was like, yeah, thanks for the wine, And he was like, yeah, this is really nice, you see the view. Get this, y'all. When we're up there, the sun wasn't even setting yet. It was still like bright in the day. It was hot. I was sweating. It was literally one of the worst dates I've been on. Serious. He still left me again going down. He didn't walk near me. I don't even know why he was so excited to get up in the first place anyways, but going down, he left me still. He kept on walking, and they would stop at the platform, look back, and then keep on going. Like, like a little kid when they're doing something bad, that they're funny, and they keep on looking back to make sure that they're, they're not gonna get smacked, and they keep on going. That was him. Childish AF. So I wasn't dressed for the occasion, so I feel like even if I did do some research to see where we're going, I would have been dressed in gym clothes, which is still incorrect because he wasn't dressed in gym clothes. He was dressed in jeans, Jordans, and like a black t-shirt. I don't know. Trash. Never again.
Ugh, wow. Drea, you deserve so much better than that. You should have told that guy to take a hike, like another hike, by himself. If you want more Drea in your life, make sure to follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at DreaKnowsBest. And check out her new podcast, Do It for the Content. And now it's time for another little branded story. All right, the next and final harrowing tale is told by YouTuber Alex Meyers. Alex shares with us the nightmare experience he had on his first and last Tinder date.
Now, this story happened a couple years ago, back when I was young and full of dreams. I tried some online dating here and there, but nothing really, clicked. Tinder had been around for a little bit at this point, but it wasn't quite as ubiquitous as it is now. I thought, why not give it a shot? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Right, guys? After about, I want to say like a week or so, I matched with this girl who was, well, let's just say that she was my type. Like, really, really my type. I mean, I was like... or something. I really hope I didn't make that noise. Anyway, so we get to talking and chatting about this and that, and things are going pretty well. Now, she seems cool and definitely not like someone who's gonna, I won't ruin it. Just sit back, grab some popcorn, kids, sit back, you're in for a ride. Finally, after a couple of days, we decide we should meet. And I was thinking, okay, my first Tinder date seems like a cool girl. Psh, all those Tinder horror stories aren't true. People just lying for attention. Pff, who even does that, just lie on the internet? Who would do such a thing? So the day comes and I'm excited and anxious and all that kind of stuff. I mean, whenever you meet anyone from online, it's always kind of a crapshoot of like, well, they might be normal or they might try to skin me alive. We meet at a cafe, somewhere brightly lit, public, with more than one exit. Pro tip for you kids. On the way, I was looking at her profile pictures and I was like, oh man, first spin, I hit the jackpot. And so I walk in and I try to find her. And I see her. Now, I'm not really sure how to describe this. Like, it wasn't like a catfish or anything. Because it was her. Just like, okay, like when you see pictures of food at McDonald's and then you order it and it kinda looks like the picture? Like, you can tell that you got what you ordered, but like the picture looks like this, but in real life it looks like this. Like all the parts are there, just not quite as advertised. This is a really weird analogy. She didn't quite look like what I was led to believe she would look like. And no, before you say it, no, it wasn't just makeup or it wasn't like angle manipulation or whatever. It was like, if you've ever looked for an apartment or something and you see pictures that looks really awesome, then you go to check it out and you're like, oh, But I don't want to be like a shallow jerk, the one who's like, ugh, no. So I thought, well, I'm already here. She's already here. Let's just have some dinner, nice conversation. I'll just keep an open mind. But when you consciously try to act normal, but you just come across like way too overly enthusiastic about everything. Nothing out of the ordinary here. No, sir, no, ma'am. You like marbles? So we sit, and I remember the conversation being nice, I guess. I don't really remember what it is we talked about specifically because I was too busy trying not to look like what I probably looked like. I do remember when we talked about our jobs, and I remember she said, I do Photoshop. And I was like, you don't say. Now, immediately, like she could read my mind, she said, oh, but don't worry. I didn't Photoshop any of my profile pictures. And I was like, yeah. Boop. So after a while, she said, do you want to come over to my place for some dessert? Now, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go home. That's the thing about me. I'll let you guys in on a little secret here, okay? If you ask me what I want to do, the answer is, I'd like to stay home, please. Like 9 out of 8 times. But again, I didn't want to be rude. I mean, she knew that she wasn't quite the girl in the profile picture. And I knew, and now she knew that I knew, but I didn't want to make her feel bad, because I'm such a nice guy. So I say yes, which is a dumb idea, but well, here we are. We get to her apartment, and I remember the building itself was like super pink, which is weird. I mean, it's weird anywhere, but especially in Tokyo, where every building is gray or brown, it really stood out. Yeah, I should probably mention, for those of you new people here, I've been living in Japan for like 11 years now. I don't really expect y'all to go through my entire backlog. In fact, probably not a good idea. Anyway, we get to her door. She turns to me and says, just so you know, I really like Disney's Rapunzel. Now, this is a really random thing to say. I mean, it's an alright movie. It's like a 7 out of 10, I guess. It's fine. But anyway, we go inside and, oh boy, I was not ready for the level of Rapunzel in this apartment. Literally everything was Rapunzel, or some shade of purple and gold. Everything. Every cup, every plate, everything. And taking this all in, the only thing I could say was, It was then I also learned, due to a variety of sensations, that she had a cat. Now here's another pro tip, kids. If you have a cat and you invite someone over, you should probably tell them you have a cat, okay? Now, I have no problem with cats, but I also learned that night that she doesn't clean the litter box at all. Literally, I watched her do this. She just sprays Febreze around aimlessly and calls it a day. There was a door in the back of the room, and I pointed to it and I asked, what's in there? She gave this weird, giggle laugh thing and said, it's just storage. And then paused for a few seconds.
Do you want to see?
At this point, I was thinking to myself, how much worse could this possibly get? Here's a pro tip, kids. Don't ever ask that question. She opens the door and we walk in. Now, you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. You're going to sit there watching your screen or your phone. You're going to think to yourself, okay, this is some BS right here. But I swear to you, this is real. We go inside and there are 2 shelves against the wall. On the lower shelf is every Rapunzel doll you could ever imagine, all lined up. I mean, really, every single type probably in existence. But then, on the top shelf above these dolls were all of the doll heads of the dolls on the lower shelves. She, I assume, ripped the heads off of each doll and put them on a separate shelf. As you can probably imagine, I was a little put off by this. I wanted to be like, okay, that's enough for me, see you later, I'm out of here. But all I could say in that moment was, can I use your bathroom? So I sat there trying to come up with some like 007 James Bond way of like trying to sneak out a window or I don't know, through some air ducts or something. But then again, I didn't want to stay in the bathroom too long or else she might think I'm taking a poop, which is infinitely more embarrassing. Okay, so I get out of the bathroom and I hear her talking, I assume to someone, or maybe like on a phone or something, right? But then on her coffee table, which has this most like obnoxiously large Rapunzel face on it, I see her phone. Well, maybe she's talking, to the cat. Maybe she's being like, oh, who's the cutest little boy, or whatever it is that cat people do. But then, right as I thought that, almost on cue, the cat rubbed past my leg. It flipped up its tail. It looked at me like, we all float down here. I then noticed that her voice was coming from the storage room. I sneak up because, I don't want to interrupt her nightly bloodletting voodoo ritual or whatever. Now, peeking in, I realize that she is talking to the doll heads. Okay, time to get out of here. I run to the table, I grab my coat, grab my phone, I delete Tinder off my phone in just one continuous motion like I was Neo escaping from the Matrix. Luckily, I caught the second to last train home and somehow survived to tell you all this story. Now, the moral of the story, kids, don't use dating apps. Just hang out and meet new people at your local library or literally anywhere else.
Sounds like he really got tangled up in an awkward situation there. Maybe he needed to just relax and let his hair down. She sounded like a real doll to me. Okay, I'll stop. If you want to hear more of Alex's stories and check out his awesome animation, make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Alex Meyers. And he's got a new podcast out called Doin the Devil's Tango. Well, there you have it. That concludes the first episode of the Storytime podcast. Huge shout out to all of our tail spinners, Culture Crash, Drea Knows Best, and Alex Meyers. Make sure to check them out and give them a follow on all of their platforms. I'll see all you little fable babies next week. Mom, where is my milk? Have you ever been on a terrible date? We'd love to hear about it. Type up your story or send an audio file to storytime@collab.inc, and maybe we'll share our favorites on an upcoming episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment and give us a 5-star rating and leave a review. It really helps us out a lot. Storytime is a production of iHeartRadio and Collab. Executive producers, Eric Jacks, Song Kang, and Will McFadden. Hosted by Will McFadden. Produced by Jessica Eccles, Jason Shapiro, Jenny Ulmer, and Daniela Mora. Written by Jenny Ulmer, with additional writing by Will McFadden. Sound design by Tony Maddox. Original score by Scott Simons. Cover art by John Kusagaya, and animation by Bella Bouchon.